All right, let's talk about AI performance scores. They can be super confusing, and honestly, sometimes they feel a little misleading. Today, we're going to cut through all that marketing noise and give you a real framework for finding the right AI tool for the job.
I mean, think about it. Every single time a new AI model gets announced, the press release screams that it's number one, right? But if every model is getting a perfect A+, how do you, as a leader, know which one is the right hire for the job you actually need to get done?
So here's our game plan. We're going to treat this like a real hiring process. First, we'll tackle the perfect score problem, why all the resumes look the same. Then, I'm going to introduce a new tool, the capability map, to help you see past that shiny resume. After that, we'll put our candidates through 3 really tough interviews to test their core skills. I'll show you how to spot if they're cheating the system. And finally, we'll figure out how to pick the perfect specialist for your team.
Okay, let's dive in. Imagine we're hiring for a super critical role. The biggest problem you face right now is that when you look at all the top AI candidates, every single one of their resumes looks absolutely perfect.
You've got all the big names, and they're all boasting these incredible, near-perfect scores on all the standard tests. What you end up with is this giant pile of flawless resumes on your desk, and it makes telling them apart, finding the real talent, almost impossible if you only look at that top-line number. So how do we fix this? Well, we have to throw out the whole idea of a single report card score. We need a new way to think about this. We're going to look at a full skill profile instead. And here it is. This is the capability map. This totally reframes the conversation. Instead of just one number, we're looking at different pillars of strength. You've got core knowledge, you've got agentic behavior, and you've got advanced reasoning. It's just like a skills assessment for a person, right? This map lets us see where each model is a rock star and, just as importantly, where it might not be so great. So now let's put our candidates through a real interview process. We're going to run them through 3 very different stress tests, and each one is designed to test a totally different core ability. First up, the general knowledge interview. You can think of this like a big standardized test. We're really just measuring their book smarts. How much have they read, and how well can they recall it? The main benchmark for this is called MMLU, or its tougher sibling, MMLU Pro. Basically, it's the bar exam for AI. It is this massive multiple-choice test that covers 57 different subjects. It's pretty much the industry standard for just measuring the raw breadth of an AI's knowledge. Okay, so they're book smart. We get it. But can they actually roll up their sleeves and do the work? The next interview is a hands-on technical challenge. This is where we test real-world practical skills. And the gold standard here is a test called SWE-bench. And this is where things get really fascinating. The AI isn't just asked to write some little code snippet in isolation. No way. It gets access to a real, messy, complex GitHub repository and a bug report, and its job is to fix it. It has to navigate the code, understand how it all fits together, and then submit a working solution. This is the difference between talking about being a great engineer and actually being one.
And finally, we've got the toughest interview of all, the brain teaser. Can this candidate solve a genuinely new problem, something it has absolutely never seen before? This is where we test pure, unadulterated reasoning.
For this, we use a benchmark called GPQA. These are PhD-level science questions that are designed to be Google-proof. They're so hard that even a human expert with the entire internet at their fingertips struggles to solve them. This test tells us if the model can truly think its way through a new challenge, not just remember something it's seen before. This is how we find out if our candidate can really think on its feet. So we've got our interview results, but hang on, before we make a hiring decision, we have to talk about red flags. How do we even know the candidate didn't just cheat on the test? So we have to watch out for 2 big ways a candidate can fool us. On the one hand, you've got contamination. This is your classic cheater. The AI has secretly seen the test questions before because they were in its training data. So it's not actually solving the problem, it's just remembering the answer. Then, on the other hand, you have saturation. This happens when the test itself just becomes too easy. I mean, if all your top candidates are getting a 99%, that test is pretty much useless for telling you who is actually the best. The good news is, to fight back against this cheating and saturation, the industry is getting a lot smarter. We're seeing this big shift toward live benchmarks. These are tests that are constantly updated, sometimes even weekly, with brand new problems. That makes it way harder for a model to just memorize its way to a high score. Okay, let's bring this all home. We know how to interview our AI candidates, we know how to spot the red flags, so how do we make that final hiring decision? Well, it all comes down to matching the right skills to your specific business problem. And this little chart is basically your hiring guide. If what you need is a great chatbot with tons of knowledge and just the right vibe, then you want to look at MMLU Pro and maybe scores from the chatbot arena. If you need a reliable AI agent that can handle complex coding tasks, you focus on SWE-bench. For those really high-stakes problems that demand expert-level logic, GPQA is your guide. And of course, if truthfulness and safety are everything, you look at scores on Truthful QA. See? You use a different yardstick for every type of job.
And really, this is the most important thing to walk away with. Stop looking for the single best model. The best AI isn't the one with the highest overall score. It's the one that aces these specific interview for the job you need to fill. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at your own business challenges, what capability is the most critical? Do you need that knowledgeable librarian, the hands-on mechanic, or the brilliant detective? Figuring that out is the first step to making your next great AI hire.